welcome back. And welcome all viewers to a new season of Cheeky Chip Chat. We are back. We are back again, Paul.
We
We're
are.
back.
Well, with the new season comes, new cheeky chip chat.
New Cheeky Chip Chat, a bunch of new changes. I'm sure longtime viewers of the show who watched all of our episodes last season will see that the video situation is much better. We've also made some changes under the hood in in the back kitchen, if we want to stick with the food analogies that we are familiar with. We've made some changes behind the scenes, and made some changes to the format of the show, we'll reveal it as we go. You know, it'll be a little bit of a surprise. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm excited. I like the new direction we're going here.
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So, Paul, first of all, it's been several months.
It has.
I would like to know what is the most life changing meal that you've had in the last since we've had the last show. What was the most life changing meal?
The most life-changing meal.
Yes.
Um, so, I went to Atlantic City.
Okay.
And me and my girlfriend, we went to the Borgata and we ate at this place called Angelino's or something like that. And they had some of the most delicious food I've ever eaten in my life.
That
Um,
sounds
I
fancy.
I had yeah so that's probably the best I think. I had wood smoked swordfish or something like that.
Okay.
Wood grilled wood grilled sword.
All right. Swordfish, swordfish. That's not bad. I mean, by comparison, my answer to this question is going to seem incredibly simple. Just a few short weeks ago, I was introduced to the gloriousness that is Wawa. I don't know if you've ever been to
Oh,
a
okay.
Wawa. I had never been to Wawa prior to just a couple of weeks ago, and let me tell you, I was able to create a breakfast bowl that had some shredded steak. It had a garlic aioli. I put some garlic aioli in there with some Old Bay. In fact, okay. So I had some steak. I had some garlic aioli. I had scrambled eggs and some avocado. Okay, let me tell you, a life changing combination. A life changing combination for me to learn that garlic aioli and Old Bay go really well with scrambled eggs. So next time you're making scrambled eggs, throw some garlic in there, man. I'm telling you, this is next level, game
I
changing.
I just like first of all, am I cutting in and out for you over there?
Little bit, yeah. I'm not gonna
Okay.
lie, a little bit. I am seeing a little a little flakiness on the internet.
I can fix that. Okay.
You
I
can
will
fix it.
fix that here momentarily. But first of all, I like how the whole moral of the story was that you discovered that Wawa existed.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day. You learn something new every week. And I learned that sometimes the best breakfast that you can get comes from a gas station. Just sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I myself am a Royal Farms man, but I like myself some Wawa as well. All right. You give a rundown of what we're going over today, if you have something specific you wanted to go over, other than the game we're going to talk about. I'm going to fix my internet issues. I'll be right back.
Perfect. Okay. So today we are going to be talking a little bit about Manchester City. See, I did that again, Paul. I did it again. It's Tottenham versus Manchester City. This was the leg that they played. This was the leg that they played at White at not. It's not White Hart Lane anymore, is it? Is it just Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? It's whatever the new monstrosity is that they spent tons and tons and tons of money on before they started down the path of becoming irrelevant, joining Arsenal down there. See, I'm crapping on Paul's club because he's not here to defend them because he's busy fixing his internet. But no, in all seriousness, we will break down a little bit of Spurs versus City action. Talk a little bit about how they got on with new manager Nuno Espiritu Santo, going up against reigning champions Manchester City. Spoiler alert, didn't go the way you think. Um, And then we'll also talk a little bit about Harry Kane. We've had some Spurs fans on the show in the past talk about their love for Harry Kane, so we'll go through some of the drama that's going on with him. Obviously, featuring for England a ton at the Euros, and mysteriously absent for Spurs in their huge fixture against Manchester City. So definitely going to go through some of that, and then of course we are in the midst of a summer transfer window this summer. 2021. Crazy year, crazy summer. Lots of outgoings and incomings across all the leagues. Some big names changing clubs. Some moves that some of us would never have even dreamed of. And so we are definitely going to be breaking down the biggest moves between the biggest clubs. Um, talking about which moves we think will work out, which moves might seem a little overpriced. I think Paul might have a few things to say about that in regards to, um, a certain center back whose name may or may not rhyme with um, Blen uh, Wagite. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Um, so I'm sure Paul will have something to say about that. Um, in the meantime, while he is fixing his internet, we can chat a little bit about the VAR situation in the Premier League. They have adopted some changes new to this season. It's prudent to bring that up on the first episode of the season, given that on our shows we tend to talk a lot about VAR, tend to talk a lot about the implications, refereeing decisions. The technology is only as good as the people using it, all that kind of stuff. However, in terms of how the technology is being implemented, they've made some changes in terms of the interpretations of the rules, in terms of the amount of leeway that's given. For example, in offsides, as you know, this past weekend, classic example: Bruno Fernandes scored his hat trick, sealing goal. Last season would have been ruled offside. Um, this season he's obviously given his hat trick. The reason being that the line that they drew on the computer was actually thicker this season, which gave a little bit more leeway to the attacker. So it looks like they'll just be looking at fractions of a limb instead of the hairs on the top of one's arm in terms of determining offside. But it'll be interesting to see what kinds of situations follow, how fans take that, things like that. It's really in response to the successful officiating during the Euros, because during the Euros the officials were praised for you know keeping the game moving, making sure that lots of different situations were dealt with consistently, but not in a way that required the audience and everybody in the stands and the players sitting there and spectating a referee watching the game play back on a video screen. So definitely going to be interesting to see how that works. And I see a comment here talk about why you changed up the season structure. Of course. So we are changing up the structure of the show just to keep it moving a little bit more, give us some more chance for some banter. Sometimes we get a little bit bogged down in lots of the deep analysis, um, lots of the minutia of a game, and instead of talking about the bigger picture, and just leaving some more room for some banter. So that's kind of why we're changing it up, kind of going to a more free flowing, informal discussion. Means we get to take our notes don't have to be as much on the what, and we can focus more on the why. Um, and yeah, we just think it'll make for some more interesting conversations and banter um, surrounding the matches. So yeah, that's what we're doing. I see Paul still gone fixing his internet, so I will continue talking. he's back.
Power's back.
He's
Power's
back.
back. Power's back. Sorry, I should have figured that would have disconnected my internet
Yeah.
before I did it. That's on me. That's on me, everyone. Sorry about that.
It's all good. It's all good. He's back. I talked a little bit about VAR. I talked a little bit about yeah, a couple of other things. And yeah, and then I think once the Skype call dropped, they lost me as well. So um, I just threw the splash screen back up, but we're good. We're back. Everybody, we're fine. This is the beauty of live TV. The show is back, and it will continue. We will continue. We Paul, let's just jump right into match commentary. I think is going to be the best thing
Yeah,
for us to do to
absolutely.
recover
Sorry
from
about
this.
that, everybody. I honestly, whew, you live and you learn. I new setup and everything. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's experimental, and we soldier on. So let's dive into the match, shall we?
yeah,
Um, Spurs hosting Manchester City, despite what it says in the thumbnail and on the thing. That's my bad. Spurs hosting Manchester City. Paul, any thoughts on the lineups? I mean, again, I know we're not going to go into the minutia, but we can still talk about how these teams set up. You want to talk about the lineups?
I mean, there's only one thing we can really say about the lineups, Rahul. And that both teams were missing Harry Kane, right? Spurs were missing Harry Kane, and Man City somehow were also missing Harry Kane. No,
Harry Kane was missed in this match. Yes, he was.
no. So I thought Spurs set up kind of the way Spurs have been setting up, right? No real surprises there. No real surprises for Manchester City. Grealish starting. What were your thoughts on the 100 pound, 100 million pound man,
Paul,
Rahul?
I do a lot of things. A lot of things that I do for a reason. Okay, there's a reason that I asked you about the meal at the beginning of the show. All right, because I knew I was going to be talking about Wawa at some point in the show. I wanted to make sure that I got in the context early. All right, now I discovered a brilliant combination of ingredients, right? Just by playing around on the tablet, I discovered a brilliant combination of ingredients. I figured garlic goes well normally with steak, garlic's going to go well with shredded steak. Naturally, shredded steak goes well with eggs. I'm sure the garlic will complement the eggs and the steak together in some way, along with the Old Bay, giving it that little hit of spice. It was
Ooh,
going to be awesome. It was just going to be awesome, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Manchester City, last few seasons, last season for sure, in fact, are like that Wawa bowl that I constructed, where everything complemented, everything you could see how it all fit together, and everything had its place. However, this season, adding in pieces like Jack Grealish, moving forward, adding pieces like Harry Kane, what I worry about, Paul, what I worry is you can only have 11 players on the pitch, right? So I worry that the team composition is going to suffer because though you are adding a world class player, are you adding a world class player that fits into your not only your system but the other 10 players that you have on the pitch? And are you by chance removing a better fit for your system and your team in order to fit that player in? That is the concern that I have. All right. Jack Grealish just being an example of that. People who are going to lose out, the likes of Bernardo Silva, right? Those are the kinds of players that are going to miss out. And those are real quality players that I think were really key in some of City's title winning runs the last couple seasons. And so
Well,
I think, for one, that's a big miss for them. Secondly, starting Ferran Torres as a striker, little puzzling, Paul, for me. A little puzzling. Not gonna lie, didn't make a lot of sense why Gabriel Jesus didn't get the nod ahead of Ferran Torres. But you know what? I let it go until I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I know we've said trust Pep Guardiola. He's proven me wrong in games where they go in without an established striker and they go in and they play that with a false nine and they blow teams away. Not today or Sunday in this case.
Well, and I am gonna say that, first of all. I am gonna say trust Pep Guardiola, Rahul. He knows what he's doing. He's Pep Guardiola. But no, to your point, I think what we don't see is what's going on in training. Do you think Pep Guardiola is not trying to put out the best team he can, especially if he's putting out this kind of team out there? Don't you think he's seen something in training where Fernan Torres is clearly the striker, or very often the false nine that he wants? Maybe that Gabriel Jesus can't be.
Traditionally, has Ferran Torres like been used as an out and out striker? Because I have not.
Just
I'm
at
not.
Manchester City.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
So like I'm not as familiar with Ferran Torres outside of this particular situation. So seeing him played in that position was puzzling to me. I don't think he was particularly effective during the match personally. I mean, they didn't score, so I can say that for a fact.
yeah, well,
Um, the you know, my issue is you have you know that Gabriel Jesus can score you goals. You have a system that where you know that these signings, like Jack Grealish, did not need to start this game. Jack Grealish could have been he's a new signing, and so this is what I'm saying is I feel like Pep's tinkering too much or too early, right? You can tinker in training, you can tinker and you can introduce as a substitute a little bit further into the game, but to start Jack Grealish in a match like this and say, I know for the first 90 minutes that we play of the season, it's all going to go well, even for a manager of his caliber, that just seems naive.
see, I disagree. I disagree. And here's why I disagree. When you spend £100 million on someone, you're even Manchester City, you're buying them to start, right? We're not
Right.
expecting Jack Grealish to sit on the bench, right? And you're gonna use it in your opener.
I agree. I agree he's going to be a starter. I'm just saying I think they should have found ways to work him and ease him into the team. Like Jaden Sancho, we paid 80 something million for him. He started on the bench. That's what
Well,
I'm saying. Like there are
that's because
ways.
Ollie is not as mature of a manager as Pep
The
Guardiola
table,
is.
the table, Paul would say otherwise. The table would say otherwise. As we sit on the top, and Manchester City probably sitting in the relegation zone, where they belong. To be honest with you. But I mean, anyway, it's a fair discussion about whether Grealish should have started and whether Ferran Torres was a good choice at striker.
Well,
It will for this. It's easy for me to point at one result and say this didn't work, right? We'll see
sure.
how it plays out over the season. I just think in the first game of the season, you go with what you know.
I
Like build confidence, build momentum, and let the new guys settle in.
okay.
That's kind of where I'm coming from.
I completely agree with you on the one point of like, how does this all work together? Because once De Bruyne gets fit, presumably he's coming into this squad,
You
and
can only have
who are you
so many players
yeah, who are you taking out? You know,
because Gundogan and Fernandinho provide great complement to each other, right? So okay, they complement each other. That's fantastic. So if you're going to put De Bruyne in the midfield, Grealish can't play there. So Grealish has got to go up front. But if Grealish goes up front, you've got to take one of those three out. Are you going to play Grealish as a false nine? Maybe. We'll see how that works. I don't know if he can play. I don't know how
and then
effective he'd be as a
and then
false nine.
if you bring in Harry Kane, the whole
Yeah,
thing,
and then if you
yeah.
bring in Harry Kane, then Grealish can't play as a false nine. So you taking out Mahrez? You taking out Sterling? Like, what are they gonna? I'm like, at some point, I just
What a
worry
terrible
about buying
problem.
too many good players for the same positions.
What a terrible problem for
It is.
Manchester City
That's
to
what I'm
have.
saying. It's like it's a problem, but I'm like, it's almost it's a problem I'd love to have. Um.
Well,
So
anyway, what did impress me about Spurs is first of all Nuno's first win with Spurs, as you were mentioning. Nuno had just taken over. Um, I kind of, I saw a little bit of that Nuno-esque kind of. There's not a three in the back like he liked to play at Wolves, but he did. It was kind of stretching, the opponent out wide a little bit, a
and
little counterattacking.
it he played under Mourinho at Porto, right? He was his goalkeeper,
Yeah,
and you can see the shades that he's picked up from his manager in his teams at Wolves. And now what he's done is he's inherited a team from his former manager that knows how to play the style that he wants to play. So he's gone from Wolves, where he had to build it himself, to inheriting better players and players who have been drilled by arguably historically the best manager at doing this.
To your point, the one move we always questioned Mourinho at the very start about, and he proved us wrong, I think, in the end, is Eric Dyer at center back.
Yeah, for
And here
sure.
we are, Nuno starting Eric Dyer at center back.
Several key tackles, balls fizzed across the box,
Yeah,
and he's the first one to him. Like
I know.
I was shocked. I mean, I made a note. I put a star next to his name because I was like, we've talked on the show about Eric Dyer before, 100%, and
Yeah,
every single one of us is like defensive midfielder, not a center back. Because the transition's not always easy. I mean, we'll have Jadon on the show and he'll talk about it, like, because I know he used to play both. But the transition is not always easy. And he, like you said, Mourinho able to spot it. Credit to him
yeah.
for converting him to a center back. Like you said, back four. Interesting without Harry Kane. An interesting front line without Harry Kane, because normally Son's one of those attacking midfielders that sits behind the striker, right? And then Harry Kane's just the guy who
Right.
goes in and wins the golden boot and gets the most assists. But in this case, Son had to be the main man, and Son had to step up. I mean, as much as we say that Son's an amazing player, Son had to step up because it was all on his shoulders this time.
And he did.
He did. He
He
did.
did
I
step
went
up.
nuts when he scored. He scored in the 55th minute. I absolutely lost it when it wasn't the prettiest goal, but it was effective. Placed between where all the defenders were. Ederson completely was not expecting it at all. And so the next thing you know, City down 1-0 in the opening game of the season because they shouldn't have played Jack Grealish.
I felt like a man on my own island, by the way, this weekend in the group chat, because I was the only one who was leaning towards City in this.
Yeah,
Because
the
I
rest
can't, I can't. You can't convince me to root for
to root
Tottenham
for
for this.
Spurs ever. Yeah. No. I feel that. I feel you 100%. I understand where you're coming from.
So I
I'd
was
never root for
gutted.
Liverpool.
I was gutted. But I know you, and I know you don't ever root for Liverpool, but you're just lucky that Madrid was the other team in those finals.
Yeah, I was. Though I did. I mean, yeah. Anyway, can you imagine if City and Liverpool had gone into a Champions League final? I would have lost it. Oh my god, I don't know what I would have done. Um, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Hopefully, it will never happen. Anyway, wanted to talk a little bit about Spurs counterattacking. A little bit of a general note.
Yeah.
Some of the decision making on the counterattack was quite questionable, in my
Okay.
opinion. I was ripping my hair out watching them run at City's goal because I was like, all right, I understand that you guys don't want to lose the ball, right? Because you get on the counter, it's your one chance in 5 minutes to possess the ball. You don't want to give it straight back, right? I understand the mentality, okay? But for the love of God, you have to play positive and direct if you're going to play on the counter, right? You're already running against fewer men in defense. City have gotten better at bringing guys back on defense in order to make sure that, they don't get caught out like they have in seasons past, like that game against Norwich where Timu Puki like tore them a new one. But in this case, even with City bringing people back, like you're still going like 3-on-3, right? You're still going 3-on-3. And if you're going 3-on-3, there's going to be space. And there was space so many times. And that's why one of the people who was driving me nuts was Son. Not going to lie. I was going to ream him a little bit if he hadn't scored during this game. His decision making and confidence got better once he did score. But another person that I'm going to ream is Steven Bergwijn. Horrible decision making on the counter attack. Constantly taking too long on the ball, constantly misplacing passes, too scared to play the pass. And I was just like, guys, like if you're going to commit, if you are already going to commit to surrendering possession, I think it was typical like 66-34 possession before City controlled the ball for the last 5 minutes of the game, throwing the kitchen sink at them trying to win, right? If you're going to sell out on the counterattack, you better commit to it 100% when you finally do get the ball. Right? Because otherwise, there's no point. You've literally just allowed yourself to not have the ball, and you're not going to take risks when you do have the ball, and you're just going to sit there, and it's going to end 0-0. And I, as a neutral, am going to be very disappointed.
I agree with everything you just said, but I feel like it's a little unfair to Spurs as they did win the game.
No, it's
So
fair
so
enough.
so I so so I I'm gonna end it on a lighter note for
Okay.
Spurs.
Okay,
Okay, I'm
fair,
gonna
fair,
end it
fair.
on a lighter note for Spurs. I think they have something here with Tanganga and Regulon as their left and right back. They played out of their minds, and I think their performances shone through. Actually, I was gonna say shout out Deli Ali as well. That was kind of fun, kind of fun to see him back in action. But
I know that we talked about Sergio Reguilon when he broke through at Real Madrid before he made the transfer to Spurs.
yeah,
We were covering Real Madrid a few seasons ago. I haven't seen him hit those heights at Spurs, but I saw it on Sunday. Like that was a fantastic game from him. The work rate that he put in, it was unbelievable.
I
So
agree.
he was fantastic. I thought Lucas Moura worked his butt off, and he was awesome. He was all over. He was buzzing all over the attacking third. I thought he
I
was
think
very good. Like we said,
it
Eric
was work,
Dyer.
work, work from Nuno's men. It was
Yeah.
just they pounded this one out.
Oh, 100%. I was very impressed, and that's the other thing I want to say. Credit to him. Credit to
Nuno,
him to
yeah.
come into a Spurs side that all anybody can talk about is what we are going to talk about in just a few minutes with Harry Kane. All he could do is come in and deal with that whole situation, and he comes out and punches Pep's Manchester City in the mouth on the opening day of the season. They got to give him credit. Got to give him credit. Really admirable.
I completely agree. I think I think it does two things, and this is going to be a little banter here, but also a little bit of truth. Okay, I think Nuno fits Spurs very well
In that he's never won anything.
because they're a small club, but they need to have that kind of small club mentality. And I just think Nuno brings a good mentality to the way Spurs play. I think
But
because I
also,
said
they've
the
never
same.
won anything.
Oh, sure. I said, yeah. I mean, that's very true too. That's very true too. But to Spurs' defense, Poch went to Ligue 1 and also lost there. So like it could just be Poch.
That guy's. I said it. I said it in the past. You can take the manager out of Spurs, but you can't take the Spurs out of the manager.
And that was a softball. And that was a softball too, right? Like going to manage PSG in Ligue
Going
1,
to manage PSG. I
yeah,
mean, I
that's a
mean, come on.
softball
If
Ligue
they
1, right?
don't win Ligue 1 this season, and again, we will get to the transfer window. If they don't win, and when I say win, I mean I want they should have the parade at Christmas. That is how early they need to win this league. Otherwise, there is going to be there's just no excuse. There's
I
absolutely no excuse.
I think this is the perfect segue, and B, I I expect record shattering like score lines this season from PSG. I'm like
Yep.
10 nil,
Yep.
10 nil, 10 nil. Anyway, any last words on Tottenham Man City?
Um, happy that City started the season with no points. I mean, I know we're
Oh,
supposed to be unbiased, but they started last. They came. I think they were like a what? Were they in sixth? Were they like 11 points off the top? They were either 6 and 11 points off the top, or they were in 11th or something like that last season before they won the. And when we were on like, and then we were top at some point, and they chased us down, and they won the league by 4 games. So like they need to drop all the points that they can from my perspective. Um, and so this is good. This is a good thing. Nothing but a good thing.
yeah, we'll
Um,
see what happens in the next couple of weeks here.
yes,
Maybe,
we will.
maybe.
We will. Um,
You could before we move on, if you want to shout out Man United for that awesome win,
hey, I will.
it's
You know what? You know
absolutely
what? Thank
allowed.
you, thank
It's
you, thank you. I
absolutely
will.
allowed. It's absolutely allowed.
Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandez, the greatest bromance to grace the Premier League. Oh, it's just it's so wonderful. It's so wonderful. Bruno with a hat trick, Pogba with a Man United player record for 4 assists in a single league game.
Crazy.
Like, could I ask for any more on the opening day of the season? Oh yeah, Fred scored. That
Yeah.
you know it's gonna be a good season of Fred's. Fred's getting on the score sheet. Fred scored.
Ooh.
Fred scored. Greenwood scored. Prodigy.
Yeah, for sure.
And Jaden Sancho debut. So
Jaden Sancho debut, Rafael Varane debut as well. Right?
well,
They beat
yeah,
him
yeah,
at
not
the game,
debut, but
right?
they unveiled him. What a
Yeah,
power move! Everybody
I
was, and
like
again,
that.
we'll talk about that when we get to transfers. Everybody was really pissed off. They had postponed that announcement. Boom! What a power move! Right before the game, they're like Rafael Varane with his classy suit rolling out. He initially was holding the shirt the wrong way, and then the PR guy was like, "Hey, you gotta turn the shirt around." He turns it around, and it turns out he's got Rashford's old number, or is it Diallo's old number? Somebody 19.
19.
The reason he didn't get number 4, Phil Jones didn't want to give up his number. You heard it here
Ah,
first. Phil
that's right.
Jones holding on to
That's
the number 4.
that's a big move, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I
Sorry, I had to mute myself there for a sec.
yeah, I can't. Phil
Whew.
Jones, what a guy, what a guy. Anyway, let's go to the Harry Kane
Okay, sure.
situation.
Let's start.
Okay, let's discuss
Yeah.
this. In your opinion, now, granted, we don't have all the information about why he's not turning up to training. He turned up today.
Hmm.
We don't have any information about concretely why he wasn't at training, right? Do you think that Harry Kane, given we acknowledging that we lack all of the information, all things equal, should Harry Kane have turned up to training on time, given that he claim it has been said that there is a gentleman's agreement with Spurs that he's had for I think a couple of seasons now, that they would find him a move away for a suitable price, and I would be far fetched to believe that Manchester City, especially, would not be willing to pay a suitable price for Spurs, in order to cop a striker of that caliber. Do you think he should have turned up to training, given that he is under contract?
I think it depends on what Harry Kane wants. I think if Harry Kane is okay with staying until, let's say, maybe the winter transfer market or maybe next summer, he's got to show up. If he wants to get out now, there's only 2 weeks left in the trend. Like, you kind of got to nut up or shut up. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I agree. I agree 100%. See, the thing is, right? I understand that he wants to preserve his he wants to win trophies,
Mm-hmm.
but you right now are remembered as a Spurs legend, right?
Yeah.
And he released a statement talking about how, oh, it's really unfortunate to see some of the things written about me, and I agree. There have been some abhorrent things written about him, right? But at the end of the day, some of the criticism is maybe warranted, maybe warranted. All things equal, again, because we don't know necessarily what the situation is. Some of the criticism may be warranted if it turns out that you are just not showing up for work because you want to leave. When you signed a contract, like, was it last year, 2 years ago, for like 6 years, you signed a brand new contract. If you didn't want to be there, don't sign the contract. Simple as.
I'm all about player mobility. I think oftentimes, if we're not the companies that are the greater footballing teams of the world can screw over the player. Sometimes I think we see that a lot.
True. But he's
Um,
getting paid a crap ton of money to play for 6 years.
I mean, he is getting paid a lot of money. That's
So
true. That's
I
true.
can only have so much sympathy for the guy when you signed a 6 year contract. If you only wanted to stay for a few more years, don't sign the contract for 6 years. Give yourself some negotiating power to be like, oh hey, you could be in the situation Paul Pogba's in right now, where you say, hey, my contract's up next season, so you either find me a move or I leave for free next season. He kind of lost all the bargaining power there by signing the contract, even if there was a gentleman's agreement. And a gentleman's agreement is just a gentleman's agreement, right? Like, I understand there might be some loyalty, but at the end of the day, the club's going to do what the club's going to do, and you
Yeah.
signed a contract. So that's you can make all the gentlemen's agreements you want. They're not beholden to any of it, but you signed a contract saying that you would continue to put on the shirt. And if the fans, I don't think really care about a gentleman's agreement, right? The fans are concerned with who's representing their team. And if you don't turn up to show up against Manchester City, I promise you there are going to be some Spurs fans that are going to be still salty about that.
I've heard, like we said, we've heard conflicting stories about why Harry Kane didn't
Yeah,
play this
again, all
past
of this is
weekend.
assuming that he, of his own volition, has just decided that he's going to try and force the move. That is, all of the statements being made are prefaced on the idea that he decided to try and force a move. If the club granted him permission to take extra vacation following his long Euros, which I doubt because there's other players who are currently playing who are also at the Euros. Um, so that doesn't really make any sense. But if that's the case, then fine. But that's the only real excuse I can see, and I don't see it. So, um, yeah,
Yeah,
I guess
I
we'll have to
mean,
we'll have to
I'm
see.
with
We'll have
you.
to see.
It's kind of like a very Aaron Rodgers esque situation, or what was a very Aaron
Aaron
Rodgers
Rodgers
esque.
esque situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, I just hope that Spurs fans remember all of the nice moments that he's given them because, even if you disagree with what he's doing, you can still remember him fondly
I think
when
they
he
will.
goes.
I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah.
Especially given time. I think it might be a little bit sour at the very start, but I think 10, 20 years down the line, I know that seems like, you know, not a long time, but or a long time, but even 5 years down the line, I think Spurs fans will start to realize what Harry Kane meant to them as a club, and what
100%.
Harry Kane did for them as
Yeah.
a club.
Because
Let's yeah.
he's the reason that, and I see a comment here saying the club is not a gentleman, it's a money making corporation. That's exactly what it is. And so that would be why they might not be inclined, especially the likes of Daniel Levy, not be inclined to honor such a gentleman's agreement. Again, if that's
Yeah,
what's going on. Um, but yeah, I'm sure he will be remembered fondly in years to come for sure. Do you want to move on? Let's talk about some of the other big transfers before we end the season opener of Chicky Chip Chat.
absolutely. Let's
Okay,
talk about them.
so
Any
let's
particular ones you had in mind?
there might be just a
Any
few.
big ones? Any big
There might be
ones?
just a few. I was just gonna go down the list and point out some interesting names, and if we want to talk about them, we can talk about them. I've got Transfer Market up here, and they've got a list right here of all of the transfers that have happened over the last summer. And they have a market value on there. I don't exactly know how it's calculated. I'm sure they have some kind of model that they use to value players based on age, potential, performance, all that good stuff. And then they've got the fee compared with it, and so it's just really all the big names are on here. So first on the list, we've talked about Jack Grealish, moving from Villa to Manchester City for 100 and all these are in euros, by the way. It's 117.5 million euros. Um, the player who is actually on the back of the Manchester United jersey that I'm wearing right now, which is why I'm not turning around, moving from Inter Milan to Chelsea for 115 million euros.
We gotta see it. Hold up, I want to. You got a Lukaku jersey on
I
right now?
do have a Lukaku jersey on right now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to
Wow.
position it in the middle of the thing, but
No, I see it. That's yeah. Wow. Nice. 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 That's beautiful.
I don't know how well you could see that, but
No, that was perfect. That was actually right there.
yeah.
Well, I
So
don't know. I can only see you on my screen. I don't know what it was like on YouTube.
yeah, I did my best. I did my best. But Lukaku, moving from Inter Milan to Chelsea. Yeah, I wish him nothing but the best. So it's expensive, but Chelsea finally trying to. I've talked a lot about how Chelsea in the past have been a a spear without a tip, you know, without a sharp edge, and hopefully he can be that sharp edge for that. I know I say that, and then they won the Champions League last season, so
Yeah.
you know, shows how much
Well,
I know.
they thought they got their sharp spear edge with Timo Werner, but it ended up being made of graphite, which is
mentality
not. Yeah.
mentality wise for Timo Werner, no, he's got that chemistry there with Kai Havertz, obviously both being German. Romelu Lukaku coming in for that much money, gotta be kind of a kick in the nuts, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, that's gonna suck, you
It's
know.
gotta suck. Like it's gonna
And
suck.
I really hope he doesn't become another Batshuayi. You know?
Yeah, yeah. We can
Yeah.
hope, but it is what it is.
Hopefully he finds his. Though, to be honest, as of right now, a loan spell could be the right move for him. Um, I thought it was super ballsy. My only comment on the Lukaku move is I thought it was super ballsy of Chelsea. Just like just after winning the Champions League, go buy a top 10 5 striker. Where I don't want
Who
to
has
argue about
already
where they.
played for you, by the way?
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of the most ironic part of it, and maybe why it makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, that's so funny.
I
I
feel
didn't
like
think Lukaku would want to leave Inter.
Lukaku's the kind of guy who just leaves the club every 2 years and just keeps rotating around, going around. So, um, yeah,
Well, his best years in the Premier League have been in blue. So let's hope it. Or let's see what happens.
yes.
Hope
Um,
might not be.
Number 30 on the list, of course, Jadon Sancho. What a man! What a man! He's wearing 25 this season. You know, he's not wearing 7. He's wearing 25.
Who's got 7? Cavani's got 7.
Cavani still got 7. He's staying for one more year. So they gave Jadon Sancho 25. I'm guessing probably because 2 plus 5 is 7.
Interesting.
Mm.
Interesting theory.
85,
Okay.
85 million from Borussia Dortmund really should have been done last season, if you ask me. But, we wanted to save some money, so we did it this season. So it's fine. I'm
Didn't
not
save
bitter. It's not like we were just
didn't
a
save
few.
too much money.
That's what I'm saying. Is that, well, we didn't save too much money. It's not like we were just a couple games off of winning the league. It's fine. Um, Number 4, Paul. I don't know if you've heard of this guy.
Oh.
A real obscure name on this list. The likes of Lionel Messi. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's just really.
Let me set up for this one. Lionel Messi moving to PSG has been the craziest. This is something we will look back on, Rahul, and think like a world changing event.
You will remember where you were when you saw that news. When you saw him holding up that number 30 shirt, which is also just so weird. It's so weird and it's so sad the way it happened. He arrived in Barcelona as a kid. He wanted to stay there. All he wanted to do was finish his career there. He even said, "I'll play for half the money." And Spanish law doesn't allow him to play for less than half the money. I'm sure he would have gone lower. He probably would have played for free if he could have. But he's not allowed. And then he ends up in Paris. It's just so the end of a freaking era. That
Yeah,
is.
seriously. I mean, when you think of the great Barcelona teams, Messi is a name that is going to consistently be brought up.
100%.
I mean, not just because he's, in my opinion, the greatest player in history, right? But because of what he meant to, Barcelona and the identity of Barcelona at its greatest.
Lionel Messi. So again, I'm gonna make a United centric comment here, but I have a reason for it. United were a referee's disastrous decision in the FA Cup away in 2008 from winning a treble. Right? We won the league, beat Chelsea in the Champions League, and there was a whole bunch of nonsense that happened in an FA Cup match that involved red cards and I think Rio going in as a goalkeeper or some nonsense. There's a whole bunch of crap that happened and we got knocked out of the FA Cup. All right. Otherwise, probably would have won the treble. Messi, the following season in the '09 Champions League final, destroyed that team. Oh my lord. I know it wasn't exactly the same team, but he destroyed them.
I mean, I'm shocked that we're seeing this in our lifetimes. Like I really am. I never thought he would leave. I never thought he would leave.
Very sad. Very sad. But PSG
And for it,
getting another free
sorry,
transfer. Another one.
eh, well, yeah, right. That's another
That's
thing.
the best part. They got him
They're
for
almost like
free.
Juventus at this point with the free transfers. Juventus has been splashing the cash. I think they just confirmed Locatelli today.
Really? Oh yeah. They did it. They agreed terms with Sassuolo for Locatelli. So again,
Yeah.
nice to see that the Euros can help you get a move if you play well, even if it's just for a game or two. You get a move, so that's awesome. Um,
I mean, that is what big tournaments are all
that's what
about,
they're
isn't it?
for. That is what they're there for, Paul. That's what they're there for. He's gritting his teeth. Manchester United buying Rafael Varane for 40 million. Paul, how do you feel about that one? Given that, what? How much did you guys pay for Ben White? 58 million to buy Ben White from. Where'd you get him from?
Brighton.
Brighton.
Brighton. Um, First of all, I think it's a great pickup for United. I think United. I'm surprised they got him, but I guess I'm not surprised they got him in the end. Um, because as soon as I heard it from you, but as soon as you hear rumors that Varane's not happy at Madrid and he's leaving, lots of teams are going to be in for him, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big pickup, to be able to snag him, and that's
But
that,
I think it helps that he was a Manchester United fan, that Sir Alex went to his house in 2011 to try and sign him before he went to Real Madrid.
oh
Like
sure.
he confirmed that. He was like, "Yeah, I met Sir Alex. He came to my mom's house." And I was like, "Oh my lord." Like, are you kidding? We were that close. And you still went to Real Madrid, but it's fine.
So what was the final price on that?
40 million.
30-ish,
40
40-ish.
million.
Okay.
Yeah, so definite bargain,
Um.
but we kind of strong armed Real Madrid because he was out of contract next season. They didn't want to lose him for free. And there's no way he was staying after they lost Ramos.
Well, right, exactly.
So
So to your Ben White comment, because I'm sure this is coming up on this list, right? I might as well.
it is. That was going to be
I,
the last one, but I threw it on here.
I might as well address it. Um, First of all, you got to take 20 million off the top. Okay, that's the English tax. You're paying that for an English center back. Okay, United.
Can we take it off of Harry Maguire?
Point out. No. We're gonna take like 40 or 50 off of Harry Maguire, my friend. That's how much that man is worth. No, but that's exactly what I'm saying, right? You even overpaid for or Manchester United even overpaid for a
Careful.
English
Careful. That's
center
my
back.
captain that you're talking about. That's our captain. You watch your mouth.
Hey, look, as of right now, you have one of the most formidable back lines in the Premier League. Though, and I have always said this, I think it's funny that like if you told a United fan a season ago Luke Shaw was gonna be like your prime left back.
I'm sorry, the best left back in the Prem. Yeah. It would be a little bit difficult to believe. Not gonna lie, it'd be a little bit difficult to believe that we got Shawberto Carlos in the starting lineup every single week. But it's fine. We will accept it in the here and now. Right. Well, speaking of fullbacks.
Okay. Let's keep it going. I'll ignore you. I'm in my head like where am I placed?
I know. I didn't want to give you the opportunity. I know Robertson's in there. I'm like, I don't want to hear any other name.
I was trying to compare. Is he better than Luca Digne?
Oh my god. Standards, Paul. There's standards. This is like we've got Wawa, and then we've got like what's another gas station?
No. Let's hear it in the comments. Who? Luke Shaw or Lucas Digne for Everton? Who's the better left back?
Yeah, actually, you know what?
Who would you prefer?
And let's throw the.
I would honestly like
Paul,
to know.
we'll throw a poll up on Twitter. Who's better, Luca Digne or Luke Shaw? I am genuinely curious to know what people think. We'll throw it up on Twitter. Next, another fullback.
I
Ashraf.
mean, there are more United fans out on the internet than there are Everton
Exactly.
fans.
That's why
So
I know we're gonna win. Ashraf Hakimi going to PSG. I feel like has he changed clubs each of the last 2 seasons.
yes,
He started at Dortmund, then he went to
which is
Inter, and then now he's at PSG.
yep, which is why I'm so shocked that he
Yeah,
left.
he's proven to be like an Ibrahimovic and a Lukaku type, just going around playing everywhere. But 60 million, pretty fair price. Getting a great player. Um, yeah, I think they'll do well with him along with Leo Messi. I mean, I actually, you know what? He's right back, right? Lionel Messi on the right
Mm-hmm.
wing. If they don't play him as a center forward, which they might, if they play, hold on, let me see if I can get my pen on the right side. If they play Hakimi and Messi, I am very excited to see how those two interact on that right flank. I mean, I'm sure Shawberto Carlos would have absolutely no problem stopping it. But, just to see that dynamic of those two interchanging on the right wing is going to be just, yeah, PSG. If PSG don't win Ligue 1, um, I don't even know. Like, the banter has to be so bad for them. Um, Upamecano going to Bayern. Kind of saw this one coming from RB Leipzig. Not
Yeah,
really, not really that
fault.
surprising.
Did he fault Nagelsmann right from Leipzig as well? Right, he went to Bayern.
Yep. So it's it's the Leipzig show in Munich now, so that's great. If only they had gotten Timo Werner, but it's it's okay. And then we've got the last one on the list is Donnarumma going from AC Milan to PSG on a free. Really
Yeah,
depends. Really depend. The way you feel about that is how much you rate Kaylor Navas, right?
best North American player in the world.
In the world. We've got Christian Pulisic now, man. You can't. We're not all garbage.
How many Champions League has Christian Pulisic won?
One,
How many has Kaylor Navas won?
three. Is it three? Maybe four.
My point stands.
Oh
My
my
point stands.
god, so bad.
Dude, did you see that I think it might be ESPN. No. I think this is the official FIFA rankings. Let me look this up. FIFA World
Oh, is it
Rankings.
the U.S. The U.S. being 10th? Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
it's the FIFA International Team World Rankings. Yeah, the U.S. is in 10th place. I don't know how, but we are.
That's
We're getting
fucking
closer to that dream of winning the World Cup. Maybe we win our home World Cup that we host next season or next after Qatar.
sorry, yes.
What's wrong?
Nothing. I, I I hope I don't get us demonetized. I dropped an expletive. Just joking, we're not monetized,
Yeah,
people.
yeah. Well, I think we'll be okay. All right, Paul. I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. I don't really think we had anything else to cover.
No, I think that was a good episode. Very laid back. I think this is going to be more of our less our new format,
See,
right?
yeah, this is kind of what we wanted to be. Is just kind of laying back, having some debates. We had some debates, but throwing crap back and forth at each other. Given some time to give some grief to teams that we don't like, and of course we'll be having more diverse fans on the show, so it's not just Paul and I just like United and Arsenal crapping on everybody else. We get to
Speaking of Lucas Digne, Luke Shaw, the poll is
the
up.
polls
Go
up, the
follow us
polls up.
at Cheeky Chip Chat on Twitter.
Follow us at Cheeky Chip Chat on Twitter.
Let me
Very
know.
nice segue, Paul. You can also follow us on Facebook, looking for Cheeky Chip Chat, and on Instagram at Cheeky Chip Chat. You can also check us out online at cheekychipchat.com.
Yes.
And Paul, if you'd like to plug yourself on social media, feel free.
I I will. I have changed the name. I have changed the handle.
Okay.
We are going at Borscht Soup now. Okay, so that's Borscht underscore
Would you
Soup.
like to spell the word borscht
Okay.
for us non-Russians
Yeah,
out there, Paul?
sure, sure. They could have looked it up, but BORSCHT underscore soup. So follow me. It's still the same page. All the same stuff is up there. Um, it's I just changed the name.
All right.
Same tweets about soccer that I've been, but I'll start updating it again now that we're back in the swing of things.
All right.
I'm gonna yeah, we're gonna do a little Twitch with some FIFA action as
Yeah,
well.
oh, yeah, yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Another thing we can look forward to is definitely some FIFA streams. We'll see if we can coordinate playing on the same platform. Otherwise, maybe we'll do
Yeah, we'll
some.
figure it out.
Well, maybe we'll do some single player stuff, or who knows, who knows. But definitely some more interesting content. Um, and you can follow me on Twitter at the Raw Hooligan. Um, yeah. And so that's
Yeah,
that's gonna do it for our season premiere show.
yeah.
Hope you
Sorry
guys
about the
enjoyed.
internet
Apologies for
issues.
the technical difficulties in the middle. And yeah, until next time, we hope that you chips will keep it cheeky until we chat next time.